Prince Harry and Meghan have hit back at controversial biographer Tom Bower over his new book, which says Prince Harry was brainwashed by his wife.
What if the most glamorous royal wedding of the decade wasn't a fairy tale at all? What if the smiling bride, the cheering crowds, and the cameras capturing every glittering second were hiding something much darker behind the scenes? Because right now, whispers coming out of Montecito suggest that Meghan Markle is not exactly enjoying the peaceful California life everyone imagined. In fact, insiders claim things inside that luxury mansion are getting tense. Very tense. And the reason? A man who has spent decades tearing apart the carefully polished images of the rich and powerful, Tom Bower. His latest revelations about the royal wedding between Meghan and Prince Harry are sending shockwaves through royal circles, Hollywood elites, and even former palace insiders. We're not talking about harmless gossip. We're talking about alleged confrontations behind palace doors, eyebrow-raising choices on the wedding day, explosive tensions with royal staff, and a list of revelations so uncomfortable that some insiders say the truth about that $40 million royal spectacle could completely change how the world remembers it. So the real question is this. Was that historic Windsor wedding truly the love story of the century? Or was it the opening scene of a royal drama that is only now beginning to unravel? Stay with me, because what Tom Bower claims happened behind the scenes might be the most controversial royal story you've never heard. The truth is, the story everyone thought they knew about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry did not begin on that glittering morning in Windsor. Long before the cameras captured the carriage ride, before the designer dress, before the 65 million viewers watching from their living rooms, there were already whispers swirling through royal corridors. Whispers that this relationship wasn't just another royal romance. It was something far more complicated. Something that, according to investigative biographer Tom Bower, had been building quietly for years. Because the truth about the House of Windsor is that it has seen scandals before. Plenty of them. The monarchy has survived abdications, affairs, and public meltdowns stretching back generations. But insiders say what happened when Meghan entered the picture felt different. Almost like two completely different worlds colliding. On one side, you had the centuries-old traditions of the royal institution, strict protocols, rigid hierarchy, and the unspoken rule that personal drama must always stay behind palace walls. And on the other side, a Hollywood-savvy actress who understood something the palace never fully grasped: the power of modern media. Before she ever stepped into royal life, Meghan had already built a reputation for carefully crafting her public image. Her lifestyle blog, red carpet appearances, carefully curated interviews. Everything seemed designed to project a very specific narrative. Confident, independent, humanitarian. But according to sources cited by Tom Bower, palace staff quickly realized that the transition from Hollywood celebrity culture to royal protocol was not going to be smooth. In fact, some insiders claim the warning signs appeared almost immediately. One former palace aide reportedly told colleagues in a private message that circulated quietly among staff. This is going to be bigger than anyone thinks. And not in a good way. At first, those concerns were brushed aside. After all, the public loved the story. An American actress falling in love with a British prince felt like something straight out of a movie. The press called it modern, progressive, a refreshing new chapter for the monarchy. Even senior royals tried to keep an open mind. But behind closed doors, tensions were already beginning to surface. According to several royal journalists, the early months of Meghan and Harry's relationship were marked by small but noticeable clashes with palace staff. Nothing explosive at first, just subtle disagreements over schedules, media strategy, and royal traditions that had been followed for decades. Yet those small disagreements began piling up. Emails reportedly sent late at night. Requests that palace officials described as unusual. And a growing sense among staff that something about this situation was moving far faster than anyone expected. Then came the engagement announcement. The interview that millions watched around the world. Smiling. Holding hands. Telling a story about a blind date that turned into a whirlwind romance. But according to Bower's investigation, that public narrative left out a lot of complicated details. Because behind the scenes, insiders claim Prince Harry's inner circle had already begun expressing concern. Friends who had known him since childhood. Military colleagues who had served alongside him. People who believed they understood the prince better than almost anyone. One source allegedly recalled a tense conversation during a private gathering where a longtime friend reportedly said something that would later echo through royal gossip for months. Harry is moving too fast, and he's not listening to anyone. At the time, those comments were dismissed as typical protective behavior from close friends. But as the wedding plans accelerated, palace insiders say the atmosphere inside royal offices started changing. Staff who normally handled royal events with calm precision suddenly found themselves navigating unexpected complications. Requests for last-minute changes, arguments over ceremonial details, and a growing list of behind-the-scenes disagreements that were never meant to reach the public. Then something happened that many insiders still describe as the moment they realized this situation could spiral out of control. It began with a series of leaked messages. Short, cryptic, circulating quietly among royal reporters and social media insiders. One message, allegedly from someone close to palace staff, read simply, "If people knew what was really happening behind the scenes of this wedding, they'd never call it a fairy tale again." At first, it sounded like typical gossip. But within days, speculation exploded across online forums and royal commentary channels. Was the palace hiding internal conflict? Were staff members already clashing with the future Duchess? And most importantly, why were so many insiders suddenly willing to talk? Because if Tom Bower's sources are even partially accurate, the drama surrounding that royal wedding wasn't just stress or last-minute chaos. It was the beginning of a much larger confrontation, one that would eventually fracture relationships, spark global interviews, and leave the royal family facing one of the most uncomfortable public sagas in modern history. And the first real sign of that explosion? It allegedly happened during the wedding preparations themselves, in a moment that palace insiders still whisper about today. And just when palace insiders thought the tension surrounding the wedding preparations couldn't get any worse, the situation took a turn that nobody inside the royal household was prepared for. Because suddenly, what had been quiet whispers behind palace doors started leaking out. Not through official statements, not through royal press briefings, but through the one place the monarchy has always struggled to control: the internet. Within days, cryptic posts began appearing across social media platforms. Royal gossip accounts on X, Instagram pages dedicated to royal fashion, even anonymous Reddit forums suddenly started sharing strange hints about what was supposedly happening behind the scenes of the upcoming wedding. At first, the posts were vague. One viral tweet simply read, "Something very strange is happening with the royal wedding planning. Palace staff are stressed beyond belief." Another post followed shortly after. "If half the rumors about Windsor preparations are true, this wedding is going to be remembered for all the wrong reasons." Within hours, the speculation spread like wildfire. Screenshots circulated. Threads multiplied. And suddenly the names Meghan Markle and Prince Harry were trending across multiple platforms, not because of romance, but because of controversy. Royal commentators began noticing something unusual. Normally, palace events run with almost military precision. Staff members follow protocols refined over centuries. Mistakes are rare. Public drama is even rarer. But according to several anonymous insiders quoted by reporters, the weeks leading up to the wedding were described as chaotic. One alleged palace employee posted anonymously on a private forum, "I've worked on royal events for years. I've never seen tensions like this." The comment quickly went viral. Then things escalated even further. Several tabloids began hinting that disagreements had broken out during wedding planning meetings. According to rumors circulating among royal reporters, certain ceremonial traditions were suddenly being challenged. Dress protocols, guest lists, seating arrangements, even the music selection inside the historic chapel. For an institution built entirely on tradition, these changes were not small matters. And that's when another rumor exploded across social media. A post claiming that a heated disagreement had occurred during a private meeting between palace officials and Meghan herself. The alleged message read, "Voices were raised. Staff were shocked. Someone even walked out of the room." Was it true? No one could confirm it. But the story spread anyway. Soon the online debate turned into a full-blown digital battlefield. Supporters defended Meghan passionately, arguing that the royal family simply wasn't used to a strong, independent woman challenging outdated traditions. Critics saw it very differently. To them, the rumors painted a picture of someone refusing to adapt to the institution she was about to join. Then celebrities started weighing in. One Hollywood talk show host joked during a monologue, "Royal weddings are supposed to be stressful, but this sounds more like a Netflix drama." Another entertainment commentator tweeted, "The palace might be discovering that modern celebrity culture doesn't exactly mix well with royal protocol." Even fashion influencers joined the conversation, speculating about tension between stylists, designers, and palace dress advisors. Meanwhile, traditional royal supporters flooded comment sections defending the monarchy. The result? Total chaos online. Team Meghan versus Team Palace. Thousands of posts. Millions of views. and growing curiosity from people who normally paid little attention to royal affairs. News outlets began cautiously covering the rumors. Headlines appeared asking carefully worded questions. Their tensions behind the scenes of the royal wedding? Is the palace struggling to manage modern celebrity culture? But the palace itself remained completely silent. No denials. No clarifications. Just silence. And that silence only made the speculation louder. Because when institutions refuse to comment, the internet fills in the blanks. Then something happened that changed the conversation completely. A royal reporter claimed to have spoken with a source who had direct access to wedding planning meetings. The source allegedly said something that immediately sent shockwaves across royal commentary channels. If people think the drama is bad now, wait until they hear what happened during the final rehearsal. The message was vague, but it raised a new, unsettling question. What exactly happened during that rehearsal inside Windsor that insiders still refuse to talk about? And why do some sources claim that moment was the point where the entire situation finally exploded? And just when the online chaos seemed like it couldn't possibly get louder, another revelation surfaced that changed the entire conversation. Because the most shocking moment, according to sources quoted by Tom Bauer, didn't happen during the wedding itself. It allegedly happened the night before. Inside Windsor. Behind closed doors. During the final rehearsal. Now, royal rehearsals are normally quiet, efficient, and almost boring in their precision. Every movement is practiced. Every step inside the chapel is mapped out in advance. Nothing is left to chance. But insiders claim that rehearsal turned unexpectedly tense. Very tense. According to whispers that later circulated among royal reporters, disagreements over ceremony details suddenly escalated into something much more emotional. One source allegedly described the atmosphere as uncomfortable and chaotic. Another claimed staff members were scrambling to resolve last-minute disputes over timing, protocol, and positioning inside the chapel. None of this was supposed to happen. Not during a royal wedding rehearsal. And yet the rumors kept growing. Some insiders claimed there were disagreements over who would stand where during the ceremony. Others hinted at tension surrounding family involvement and last-minute adjustments to the schedule. And while the palace never publicly confirmed any of it, royal commentators noticed something strange. Several senior staff members involved in the wedding preparations reportedly left their roles within the following months. Coincidence? Maybe. But critics began asking questions. Then came the moment that many royal observers believe quietly changed how the palace handled the entire situation. Because once the wedding finally happened, the carriage ride, the crowds, the global broadcast, the palace adopted a very specific strategy: silence. No public arguments. No direct responses to rumors. No attempts to fight online speculation. Instead, the institution did what it has done for centuries. It waited. Meanwhile, the story surrounding Meghan Markle and Prince Harry continued evolving in ways nobody could have predicted back in 2018. Interviews, podcasts, documentaries, accusations, rebuttals. Each new chapter adding fuel to a global debate that refuses to fade away. Supporters say the couple simply wanted freedom from royal pressure. Critics argue the situation revealed deeper tensions that had been building long before the wedding day. And then there are the investigators and biographers like Tom Bauer who insist the full story still hasn't been told. Because according to his sources, the wedding drama was never the real story. It was only the beginning. The opening act of a conflict that continues to ripple through the monarchy, Hollywood, and the global media landscape even today. Which brings us back to the question everyone is now asking. Why are new details about that wedding still surfacing years later? What exactly happened behind palace walls that so many insiders still refuse to discuss publicly? And perhaps the most intriguing question of all, what other revelations might still be waiting to emerge? Because if history has taught us anything about royal scandals, it's this: the biggest twists rarely appear when the cameras are rolling. They appear years later, when someone finally decides to talk. And according to several royal commentators, the next chapter of this saga might already be quietly taking shape. So what do you think really happened behind the glittering scenes of that royal wedding? Was the marriage between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle truly the modern fairy tale the world was told? Or was it the beginning of one of the most complicated royal controversies in recent history? Because the deeper investigators like Tom Bauer dig into the story, the more strange details continue to surface. From tense wedding preparations to rumors of disagreements behind palace doors, the narrative around this relationship keeps evolving in ways that even royal experts didn't expect. And here's the real question that's dividing the internet right now. Are these revelations proof that the royal family drama has been misunderstood for years? Or are they simply another chapter in a never-ending media storm surrounding Harry and Meghan? Supporters believe the couple was simply trying to build a new life away from royal pressure. Critics argue the controversies reveal deeper conflicts that started long before the wedding bells rang in Windsor. But one thing is absolutely certain. The debate isn't ending anytime soon. Every new interview, every new report, and every new investigation seems to add another layer to this already explosive story. And if recent whispers from royal insiders are even partially true, the next revelations could be even more surprising.
So now we want to hear from you. Do you think the world has been told the full truth about the royal wedding? Or do you believe there are still secrets waiting to come out? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because the conversation around Meghan and Harry is far from over.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the internet's most talked about royal controversies, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next investigation.
Because trust us, this story is still unfolding.